Welcome to Prepper Nation. I'm John. Thank you very much for being here this morning. If you could do one thing here in the United States of America, if you could change one thing about this country here in 2024, what would it be? I'm just curious because I'm going to let you know what I would change here in the United States of America. There are a lot of things that need changing. I mean, I'm not disputing that, okay? You got the invasion down south. You've got our troops deployed all over the place. You've got a major spending issue on Capitol Hill that never seems to go away. I mean, there's so much stuff, right? The one thing that I would change though about the United States of America is I would want the average American to tell the truth. Let me explain this morning. We're going to have ourselves a conversation about it, son, to tell the truth because I think this is personal opinion. Let me know what y'all think. I believe 95% of the folks here in the United States of America know deep down the truth, whether we're talking about the economy, the border, whatever. You take your average Democrat in Texas, no matter, regardless what they'll tell you to your face or what they're posting on social media, when they lay their head down on that pillow at night, they know it's an invasion. Now, you got 5% of Americans. I mean, let's just be real. It could be a higher number. They're just dumb. These people are idiots. They probably don't, they probably believe everything coming out of the White House. But the White House is not fleecing the average American. We don't have a problem with understanding what's going on here in this country. We have a problem with people not telling the truth. When they see it's an invasion, they're scared to call it an invasion. When they see tyranny, they're scared to call it tyranny. When they see corruption, they're scared to call it corruption. On both sides of the aisle, I'm saying. People just spin it. They're looking for the silver lining all the time. Maybe they think it's still the 1970s, and that country still exists. I don't know why people lie to themselves, but they're not telling the truth. And let's talk about the economy for a second this morning, because the rubber is meeting the road, so to speak. UPS announced yesterday they are laying off 12,000 employees. And a lot of people, of course, on social media, they saw this news and they pretended to be shocked. Oh my God, what's going on? I can't believe this. What is going on here? Well, what's going on is exactly what I said here in this chair this time last year and told you was going to happen. I told you. Now, I didn't know the companies, obviously, but I sat right here and I told people at Prepper Nation, I said, this coming year, you're going to have massive amounts of layoffs. Your larger companies are going to begin to shed jobs. They just are. Why? Because the truth is the economy sucks. Biden, he can spin it however he wants. Yellen, she can spin it however she wants. They can come up with fancy terminology like, build back better, Bidenomics, whatever. The point is, the economy sucks. And if you don't think it sucks, you need to stand in front of a mirror, son, unless you're a vampire. Stand in front of a mirror and have that serious conversation with yourself and figure out at which point you began lying to yourself about the current state of the United States of America. These people are pretending to be shocked, and I'm like, you're not an idiot. Most of you are not idiots. Whatever your political affiliation, you knew the economy sucked. You knew these layoffs were coming. Again, we didn't know it was going to be UPS, but it is what it is. We predicted it a year ago. Massive layoffs, large companies. Now, UPS posted it's a gray area. We're going to chat on it for a second, but UPS lost $9 billion in revenue last year against the year prior. Some people, again, are going to spin it, those silver lining folks. Well, UPS actually posted a profit for the fourth quarter. Yes, they did. Of course they did. It was Christmas season. People order stuff online, right? But against the year prior, including the Christmas season of the year prior, they posted a loss of $9 Billion with a B dollars. So 6 months ago, UPS is on the verge of a strike. The UPS corporate folks, the shareholders and the like, they're looking at the potential of a strike right before Christmas season starts. And they're like, we can't afford a strike here. We cannot have our people go on strike during the busiest shipping season of the year. So we've got to do what we've got to do. UPS agreed to begin paying their truck drivers $170,000 plus great benefits, from what I understand. Now, again, that's for drivers. There are other positions at UPS. They're not all drivers, but they got a substantial increase in pay and benefits across the board. Now, again, UPS is laying off 12,000 employees, and the way they're making it sound is this is the first of many cuts to come this year. UPS directly blames the loss in revenue. Again, $9 billion. That's a lot of money, folks. Unless you're the U.S. government, then you just print more. The new union deal, they specifically pointed to that, and they said, we cannot afford to take losses like this and pay you what was demanded under this contract. We can pay the people that remain with the company, but 12,000 of y'all, you got to go, son. And finally, and this is very important because we're going to talk about this later, the integration of AI. The fact that AI has taken over so many jobs that are not just specific to UPS. So when you boil it right down, it's Joe's America. He blames Trump still 3.5 years later. He walks around the White House with a box of Crayola. He's drawing all over the wall. Total clown show. But we know this. We've come to expect this from Biden and company. You can pick any SHTF you want to this morning. Because again, it's like pulling something out of a hat at this point. There's so many fires going on, so to speak. But losing $170,000 of income a year plus benefits is real. Can you imagine that for a second? I get it. The cost of living is different here versus over here versus over here. I cannot imagine, whether I'm single or whether I'm married, I could not imagine a household losing $170,000 of income like this. Just being told at work, hey, we don't need you anymore. That's a lot of money. You know what I mean? And 12,000 families are about to face this reality. This is a full-blown SHTF for them. This is why I wanted to cover it this morning. And this is on top of the cost of everything. The cost of everything. From insurance to utilities to food, everything has went up. It's crazy. And now they're going to have to deal with everything going up on top of losing that amount of income. Listen, this is not an isolated issue. We can say it's a UPS problem. We can say, again, those spinners out there, those spinsters, well, it's an industry-specific problem, blah, blah, blah. It's not. And it's a problem that's not going away. PayPal, as a matter of fact, just cut 9% of its workforce yesterday. Now, you can be one of these people, and I get where you're coming from, where you point to a company and you say, this company deserves it. This company deserves it. This company deserves it. But maybe all the employees don't. You know what I mean? It feels like a got you moment. PayPal cut 9% of its workforce. A lot of people are like, oh, well, but the thing is, the company doesn't care. If the company's losing money, they just slash jobs, and a lot of little people are being hurt there. And maybe they're not all like full-blown liberals. You know what I mean? There might have been some conservatives that lost jobs with this announcement yesterday. And again, this is on top of, it's not industry specific what is going on. This is, these spinsters have convinced people to lie to themselves. And I'm sick of all the sugarcoating. Amazon is laying off. Google is laying off / YouTube, right? Facebook is laying off. Twitter is laying off. Automakers are laying off. Seems like everybody is laying off. Just like we're sitting at home trying to figure out how we're going to pay our bills month to month. We're trying to sit down. We're trying to make it make sense. Okay, the insurance went up. How many hundreds of dollars? Our utilities went up for no rhyme or reason. Okay, now they're assessing, the house and the property at this amount. You going down the list, groceries cost how much now? So we're sitting down trying to figure out where to trim money, where we can make it make sense. Folks, corporations are doing the same thing. This is why I said it's going to be major corporations. I said this last year because major corporations answer to stockholders and shareholders, right? Those people don't want to lose money. If it comes down to somebody who owns stock versus a driver out on the road, guess who's out of a job? The driver, because the stockholder's not going to want to lose money. This is, unfortunately, this is how business works, right? So every major industry in the United States of America is doing one of the following. They're either laying off in massive, massive numbers, by the way. Um, they're under some sort of a hiring freeze. I hear about all of these jobs available. Most of the jobs in this area that I see that are available are part-time with no benefits. No, it's not like, for example, you can't leave a job making 170 grand a year plus benefits, hop on over to Bojangles and make $15 an hour, 20 hours a week, 22 hours a week with no insurance and continue to support your family. And you'll have those people, well, I used to work 2 jobs, even 2 jobs, part-time. You can't do it. People have to have insurance. People have children and stuff like this. There's a major hiring freeze on most of the jobs that pay well, that have any sort of benefits, right? Again, they're cutting hours. Most employers right now, I know the service and restaurant industry and stuff, they're cutting hours because they're trying to stay in business. They're trying to stay afloat. They're cutting benefits. Getting into California for a second, there are a couple of other states, I believe, as well, but California upped their minimum wage to $20 and beyond, I think, for fast food workers and restaurant service workers and things like this. And on the surface, this looks really, really good, right? But again, people that think it's a really good thing, they're living a lie. They're lying to themselves because deep down they know what's about to happen. We called this one here at Prepper Nation. Many of you did as well. You knew what was going to happen. McDonald's is not going to pay you $20 an hour and keep you working 40 plus hours a week with full benefits and vacation. What's happening now is these people got a substantial raise, to offset the cost of living. They got their hours slashed in half. They got all their benefits taken away. No vacation time now for these people in California. They're like, what am I going to do? It was a Band-Aid. It was never a real fix. And most companies are inflating their prices. Walk into a grocery store and tell me people are not inflating prices on things. It's not even just food. You can go into, any store. You can go into a Lowe's right now or a Home Depot, whatever you're fancy, and you go in, everything costs more. It's just what it is. Folks, the economy is on life support. That's the truth. I want to talk about speaking the truth. That right there is the truth. The American economy under Joe Biden, it's not Trump's fault at this point, is on total life support. So Wednesday, June the 28th, 2023, Biden and the White House held a press conference, and they unveiled what they call Bidenomics. And they broke down how Bidenomics, this is great for our country. This is going to rebuild our country. Of course, they blamed Trump and they blamed the 19 and they blamed everything else, but they said, we have a crystal clear plan. We have a path forward. People are going to be able to afford to live. So I'm asking this morning, am I missing something? Because again, that was last summer. This whole thing should have been corrected course by now. Am I missing something? Because the average American family's debt under Joe Biden has increased 16%, which tells me people are living off of credit in order to try and survive. To me, this is a huge festering issue in our country that almost nobody is talking about. I get it. The border's important. We're going to be talking about that tomorrow. I get it. Europe's important. There's all kinds of important stuff going on right now. But if people can't afford to survive at their own home, without becoming homeless or without their kids starving, to me, this is an immediate problem. Again, it's a festering wound that nobody seems to be interested in. Um, we're going to talk more economy later this evening sometime. I had a very interesting conversation with a family member who is smarter than I am. I'm man enough to admit it, son. And we sat down, we had a conversation, and I think what he had to say may blow some minds. The analogy is the best one I've ever heard. Anyway, that's later this evening, probably. Till then, y'all take care. God bless.